Welcome to part 2 in a series of my coin collection. In part 1, we went through half cents, large cents, small cents, and pennies. Now in part 2, I'm going to be going to the next denominated coin. And the next denominated coin was actually a 2-cent piece. It may sound odd to you if you haven't collected coins, but the next denominated coin after the cents was a 2-cent piece, which the US minted. I'm going to show you what that looks like if you haven't seen one. This is actually pretty big. It's actually larger than the size penny that we know today. I'll give you an idea by putting it next to the common penny that we use today. You see it quite larger. Now this is a very interesting coin. This is a 3-cent silver piece. After the 2-cent coin, they made the 3-cent coin. That was the next denomination after the 2-cent. Very interesting story behind this coin. They actually made this because postal rates dropped. It's amazing to think about. Prices actually going down. It shows how standardized and sound money was, because this coin is actually mostly silver. And they made it to accommodate the drop in postal rates. Here's the other side of it. Now this coin is tiny. It's one of the smallest coins ever minted by the United States, and the smallest silver coin ever minted by the United States. Let me give you an idea of how small this thing is. So here's the penny next to it to give you an idea how tiny this coin is. It's actually quite skinny too, quite thin. Now this is a 3-cent nickel. These were minted from 1865 to 1889. Now the reason they made it out of nickel is because, well, during the Civil War, one of the biggest, well, not the biggest, crisis in American history, Americans hoarded silver. There wasn't enough silver to go around. Treasury had a shortage of silver, so they started to mint coins out of nickel. Again, to give you an idea of the size of the coin, I'm going to compare it to the penny. Okay, and the next coin. This is a coin that was called the Shield nickel. It was minted from 1866 to 1883. And this is actually the first 5-cent piece, made of 25% nickel and 75% copper. That's what it's comprised of. This is a very interesting coin. This is actually a half dime, we had a coin called a half dime, for those of you who don't know. And this, as well as a coin made mostly of silver. Just give you an idea of the size of this one as well. It's quite small. Again, there's the penny, so it gives you an idea of the size of it. Okay. Now, the coin after the shield nickel was known as the Liberty nickel or the V nickel. So, as you can see, these are all Liberty nickels up until here. So I'm going to show you some of them to get an up-close look. Yeah, this one has a lot of wear. Let's look at a few more. This coin basically has the same size as the nickel as we know today. Show you a few more. Okay, let's move on. The next coin I'm going to show you is a very popular one. Most people that are not even into coins, many people, know about this coin. They call it the Buffalo nickel, and some people call it the Indian head nickel. So that's these coins right along here. I'm going to show you some up close. Let's take a look at this one. These were minted from 1913 to 1938. Of course, it depicts the American bison. I'm showing you this one because if you look right below 5 cents, you'll see a D, and that stands for Denver. This was minted in the Denver Mint. Very popular coin for a very good reason. If you look at it closely, and I noticed this, comparable to other coins, it really stands out at you. There's not much margin between the bison and the corners. And it's just engraved beautifully. And the bison itself is just a classic image of classic Americana. It's an indigenous animal of North America. It's a true symbol of America, it really is. And then the other side you have the Indian. Also, as you can tell, the face is most of the coin. It's most of the circumference of the coin. There's not much margin, so it really stands out at you. So the coin, you know, on both sides really depicts the heritage and history of North America. Let's take a look at a couple that are in higher grade condition to give you more detail. Yeah, these are in a higher grade. The issue with this coin is, as you can see, the date is very much raised, comparable to the other parts of the coin, and as a result of that, in circulation they were rubbed out very easily. That's why a lot of these, you can see the date is just completely rubbed out, even though the coin itself isn't really that bad. That was the only issue with it. I'll show you one more. Okay, so that is part 2. Please make sure to subscribe to be notified of part 3 in a series of my coin collection. And thank you for tuning in.